I actually went through anxiety myself while transitioning from school to college, and that just made me more empathetic towards the cause. So, Use of the Mind was just a way to help people. There is a lack of education, a lack of awareness from the very beginning. Obviously, apart from the obvious anxiety that we have because of the pandemic, there are so many multiple aspects. Firstly, we're definitely more worried about our safety, about the safety of our close ones. Actually, our generation is the only generation which grew up with social media. So, when we were teenagers, we were the first ones to actually experience all the different aspects of social media, whether it started from Facebook, to playing video games on Farmville or anything. But what I personally feel is that we have more opportunities than ever to actually start something of our own and to work for things we believe in. I was in this loop before, but after some introspection, what I've come to realize is that there is no should be. There is no one plan to do things or one way to do things. And what I feel is the best time to start your startup would be when you have a strong why.
Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. My name is Pratham Malik and I hope you all are doing well. So today's video is going to be quite special as we have a special guest with us, Manasi Gupta. She is a third year BTech student from VIT Vellore. Also, she is the founder of Huesofthemind, which is a company that deals with mental health issues in a very convenient way. And as you might expect, this video is going to be quite interesting as we'll talk about mental health issues, entrepreneurship, and a lot of other things. So, Mansi, my first question to you is that how did a BTech student ended up being a founder of a company related to mental health?
Hi, firstly, thank you for having me. And to be honest, I actually went through anxiety myself while transitioning from school to college. And that just made me more empathetic towards the cause. So, Use of the Mind was just a way to help people. And the main vision was for people to have a space to share how they are and to talk about issues which we usually don't talk about.
Wow, that's honestly very inspiring. Okay, so coming to my next question. So, in today's time, we all are aware about almost everything. We are seeing celebrities go through severe mental health issues, but still, we consider talking about mental health or going to a therapist as a taboo. We don't treat mental health issues just like physical health issues. So, what do you think? What is the reason behind that?
That is actually so true. And I think the cause goes to, our education itself. So there is a lack of education, a lack of awareness from the very beginning. So even in our school, I don't think we were actually taught about anything. And even if we were taught meditation, we were not told why this is helpful, why this would help us cope with anything. So the grassroots level where we're not even aware of any mental health issues, where we don't talk about mental health, where we don't have safe spaces to reach out to people. So if we actually consider mental health as part of, just our curriculum in any way, even when we talk about physical health along with that, so that would make a huge difference because we would be more aware as children and we would grow up to be emotionally, supported adults as well. So firstly, I think that is one very big cause. And the second is the general lack of discussion, not only in our schools, but in society, in, our families, which actually causes a stigma to build up around mental health. And where it's considered, going to a professional is considered as, a taboo where only people who are crazy would, seek help. So it's not considered a part of our daily well-being, but rather it becomes something else altogether.
Oh, that's a really nice answer. It's so true that we don't have mental health issues in our curriculum. So my next question is related to mental health issues during this COVID pandemic. Now, personally, I'm quite fascinated by human psychology. In fact, this semester, I took introduction to psychology in my university elective, and I like to read a lot about human psychology. So remember last year when the lockdown was about to be implemented almost in the entire world, I read this article by some psychiatrist, and he predicted that most of the people will go through mental health problem because of the chronic anxiety, And he said that, that something like this has never been studied before, as the entire mankind has never been forced to be isolated in such a way for such an extended period of time. So, do you think that this COVID pandemic or the lockdown has severely affected our mental health?
I certainly believe so. And although I'm not a mental health professional or a researcher myself, I still feel it can be pinned down to so many reasons, like, so many causes. So obviously, apart from the, obvious anxiety that we have because of the pandemic, there are so many multiple aspects. Firstly, we're definitely more worried about our safety, about the safety of our, close ones. And secondly, there's so much uncertainty with respect to everything. So, with respect to people having their jobs and even students, how they'll be attending their classes, how they'll be giving their exams. There is so much uncertainty with respect to when this will get over and when we'll be back to our normal lives. So, uncertainty definitely results in a lot of anxiety because we do think about a lot of things which are not in our control, and that definitely makes us more anxious. So apart from these two, I feel a lot of things like definitely the lack of any contact, physical contact with the people we usually spend time with, and just being there in one location can actually have a toll on our health because we were never accustomed or brought up to be like this. So this has been a change in our environment and everything, all aspects of this, even the weather affects our mental health. So such a huge change in our environment would definitely affect us so much. And I think also the excessive use of, because we have to stay connected to people, but this has led to an excessive use of not just social media, but so many other things. And this has also affected us in a lot of ways, I believe, because in a certain way, people are keeping up with what's going on around them, but they're still feeling very lonely, very disconnected with everybody. So there are so many aspects to this, and I feel that the pandemic has affected people in so many different ways, and it has definitely made people more anxious because of this uncertainty, more stressed out, more restless. And even if you look at the actual statistics, a lot of mental health professionals have said that they have seen a huge rise in the number of people who have approached them or reached out to them during this past 1 year. So even the numbers speak for themselves, and this is definitely something that all of us should take seriously.
Wow, that's a really beautiful answer. And talking about social media, my next question is actually related to it. So I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs calling our generation as the mental health problem generation, as they believe due to social media, video games, web series, porn, our dopamine sensitivity has negatively affected. Also, this generation is facing more competition in life. The lifestyle is more complex. So, do you think that our generation has more severely affected to mental health issues?
I actually think that's true, and I'm glad you talked about instant gratification. So, actually, our generation is the only generation which grew up with social media. So, when we were teenagers, we were the first ones to actually experience all the different aspects of social media, whether it started from Facebook, to playing video games on Farmville or anything, to Snapchat, Instagram, and so many. So basically, I personally feel that this changed how we behaved, and we seek more validation of our actions from others, and that is because of social media, because our actions are more public than ever before. So I think we're also losing touch of our uniqueness because in a way, our natural tendency as humans is to be accepted by others and to be in social groups. And that is why even on social media, whenever we see something particularly, we do try to be like that, or be that in a certain way. So I think we're also losing touch of our uniqueness. We are being exposed to certain or ideal ways of living or bodies, image, standards, or so on. So all these affect the way we think of ourselves, and I think that has also resulted in low self-esteem, or a lot of rise in insecurities that people have in themselves. So if you've seen the documentary Social Dilemma, so it actually presented statistics as to why, what has happened, and, why there is suddenly an increase in mental health issues. And it talks about addiction, which is, a lot of people have become a prey to. And it talked about how social media actually functions as to how, we are the actual products of social media. So the main aim that they have is to get our attention. So the entire, business model, the entire psychology behind every small detail is based on this. So nobody actually thought of the long-term effects or the effects it would have on us. And I'm glad that we're having discussions like this, because it really, ignites conversations about the effect of social media on our mental health.
That pretty much explains a lot of things. That was a really nice answer, I must say. So, okay, enough of discussion about entrepreneurs. Sorry, not enough of discussion about mental health issues. Now, let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. So, I'm seeing a lot of my seniors actively choosing entrepreneurship over corporate jobs, and they do have a running startup right now. So, is this hype around entrepreneurship something new, or it has always been like that? So, what do you think?
So, what I personally feel is that we have more opportunities than ever to actually start something of our own and to work for things we believe in. So, that may be because technology is more accessible, more available to people more than ever before, or it may also be because of the rise of a lot of new industries, which we are already very acquainted with. So, here, for example, I'm talking about digital marketing. So, a lot of people of our age, of the youth, are starting their own digital marketing firms. So this is because we have been in touch with, we have been users of so many platforms of digital media ourselves, and we feel that we are capable, we have those skills to carry it forward in different industries. So this is one thing that has recently grown a lot. And then in terms of technology, there are so many different aspects which are growing, whether it's AI, whether it's machine learning, data analytics. So all these actually, are able. I personally feel that technology is able to solve the problems that we have in society, and a lot of people are trying to do that. So they're trying to start their own companies which actually solve problems which we acutely face. So I recently attended a conference in which the former a CXO level person of Alibaba was there. So he talked about why they started Alibaba, and he said that it was because they wanted to actually solve a problem which China was facing, a problem in the society. So that's what he encouraged all of us to do, to actually use technology to solve problems which we face, whether it's something as small as managing activities in your society, or making an app to actually regulate activities which happen in your college or in your university, and then it can obviously grow larger nationally, internationally. But it starts with solving something. So that's why I feel that a lot of people are trying to do that with their business ideas, and that's why we're coming up with a lot of different innovative ideas. And there have been a lot of different opportunities for people compared to what they had before.
Yeah, that actually quite explains a lot of things, and that was a really good answer. So one confusion that many aspiring entrepreneurs have is that what is the perfect time to get a startup? Is it during the college years when you don't have any responsibilities and you can afford a startup failure as you still have many job opportunities still available? Or should one focus on academics and get a really high paying job, establish financial stability, gain knowledge and experience, then get into startup? So what do you think? What is the best time?
I was in this loop before, but after some introspection, what I've come to realize is that there is no should be. There is no one plan to do things or one way to do things. And what I feel is the best time to start your startup would be when you have a strong why. Like, why do I want to start something? So, for example, I want to start a company in the sphere of mental health, right? If I have a strong why that this will solve this problem, which is not being solved in the society already, which can be accommodated by people, which can help people, or anything. Basically, if you're able to prove your hypothesis, of the company to yourself that this is required right now, and your why of doing that is strong, I think any time would be perfect for you. So I've seen so many different stories. I used to read stories of entrepreneurs, not just success stories, but failure stories too, because that's how we learn the most, right? From their failures, they're able to teach us where they went wrong, so that we do not do the same things. So I read a story. We all know about Mark Zuckerberg. So he can come in the second in the first category that you said, that he just went ahead with it. But it started with the idea. What if he had that idea later, like 10 years later? So the idea must be strong, and I don't think the why should be that I want to be an entrepreneur. That's why I'm doing this. It can be, but then unless you have a strong idea, I don't think you should move ahead with anything. And that involves doing market research. That involves a lot of factors before actually concluding that this can actually do well right now. In whatever market you are in. And if you, I read about successful women entrepreneurs, especially in India. So the founder of Nika would be one of the most successful ones. So she actually started Nika after 20 years of, gaining experience in venture capitalism and everything. So there is no definite should. And there are people of all different age groups. And I would just reiterate that it's about the idea, it's about the implementation and the why of, things. You will find a how if the why is clear.
Yeah, actually, I remember a TED talk from Simon Sinek. I really like what his work is. And he also explained in a similar way, start with why, and then things will follow up. So yeah, I am actually done with my contents questions. Thank you, Mansi, for acting for this and making time from your busy schedule. And I must say that what you are actually doing for people is very inspiring, and I wish best of luck to you. And if you guys want to know more about Mansi Gupta or about Hughes of the Mind, I've got all the relevant links in the description box. So do check that out. I hope to see you guys soon, and until then, goodbye.